Where were you on August 26th? Because in Minneapolis, teachers, kids, and parents will never forget that day when an ordinary back-to-school mass turned into absolute chaos. 2 children lost their lives. 17 people were injured. And yet in the middle of that nightmare, ordinary students and teachers became heroes. Yeah, you heard that right. Kids shielding other kids. Teachers risking their lives. And according to Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, without them it could have been far worse. Here is what went down. A shooter opened fire through the windows of Annunciation Church during mass targeting students. Panic spread instantly. But instead of running, older kids and teachers scrambled to cover the youngest, pulling them to safety. The attacker, Robin Westman, 23. He died from a self-inflicted wound behind the church. Authorities confirmed the weapons were purchased legally just days earlier. His motives, even with pages of writings left behind, experts say, will be nearly impossible to translate into anything that could prevent future attacks. For the survivors, the trauma is raw. I am not usually that emotional, but I was genuinely shaking, said 17-year-old Elena, holding a youth group member at the church. Vigils are being held and a community is grieving while Minneapolis mourns. Washington is in chaos too. The White House just fired CDC Director Susan Menarez after a clash with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. She had been in the role for less than a month. Her ouster triggered resignations from top CDC officials who warned that Kennedy's new vaccine policies threaten the lives of the youngest Americans and pregnant people offshore. Dozens of union workers are stranded on paused wind projects after President Trump suddenly halted a nearly complete offshore wind farm, leaving workers confused and jobless. And in sports, Navy's quarterback Blake Horvath ranks among the nation's elite QBs, but he is making exactly $0 in NIL deals. Why? Because Service Academy athletes are considered government employees. So despite likely having a 7-figure NIL value, he gets nothing. Meanwhile, players like Arch Manning are pulling in $6 million a year. Fair or unfair? From churches under fire to shakeups in Washington to college athletes caught in the system, these stories all connect back to one question: who really pays the price when leadership fails? What do you think? Should NIL rules change for Service Academy players? Should a CDC director be fired over policy disagreements? And most of all, what can be done to stop the next Minneapolis? If you want the full breakdown on stories that actually matter, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss tomorrow's briefing.